All right, well, good morning. Very excited to go over this presentation with you. Today's webinar, we're really going to be covering Websites 201 and how to take your booj website to the next level. Now, if you have any questions during this webinar, be sure to type them into the question box. All questions will be recorded by our moderator, Josh, and answered at the end of this webinar. Throughout this webinar, you'll be seeing my screen as I alternate between slides and live driving into the booj platform. There is no video in today's webinar, and all attendees are muted. So that means I cannot hear or see you. Today's webinar will also be recorded and posted to Remax University within 72 hours, giving you the opportunity to refer back to this webinar recording at any time. So, before we get started, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ken Cruz. I am a technology engagement consultant here at Remax headquarters in Denver, Colorado. Very excited, again, like I said, to go over this presentation. The agenda for the day is really going and getting a good idea and understanding of the importance of SEO and how that plays within your booj website. Also, how to create curb appeal content for your website using default pages that have been pushed out, or also creating your own content from scratch. Then we'll have a conversation about optimizing your website for lead generation and some important factors that play there. And then we'll end this webinar going over website maintenance and how to go through and access your website settings. So we'll go ahead and jump right into the conversation of SEO, short for search engine optimization. Really think in this area, people find content on the internet using Google, really based using search engines. And the way those results are ranked or determined is by SEO. So really think of SEO being the order or referring to the order that your site ranks on a Google search. Now this can also be on Bing as well. And really, we're going to be looking into ways how to influence SEO for your website today. So SEO today, we understand that, we try to be that #1 result when a consumer first searches maybe homes in Lakewood or homes in Wheat Ridge or real estate agents in Denver, Colorado. We really want that #1 spot. How that happens is Google basically looks for the site to where consumers get the best experience, because that's Google's main idea, is providing consumers the best experience. How they determine that is truly how consumers go to these websites. What does their traffic look like? They really focus on 3 main things. #1, the time spent on a website. So are the consumers spending a good amount of time going through that website rather than just entering and leaving? Are they looking at they're also looking at the navigation. So are consumers going in and clicking multiple pages? Are they browsing through the actual website itself? And then they also look at consumers returning back to the website. Okay, how often are they coming back? Is the content being updated to where consumers do want to come back and look at that updated content? So with those 3 main things in mind, if you can build your website, allowing consumers to spend time, to navigate through your website and return to your website, that will only increase your SEO rank, therefore giving you the opportunity to appear on that #1 page result. So, some key factors to keep in mind when it comes down to SEO is relevance, quality, and freshness. And we'll kind of break that down here now. First one is quality. Okay, on my screen, you can see on the left-hand side, there's a very blurry picture of a home, and on the right-hand side, a very clear picture. Okay, when it comes down to the content that you use, you want to really make sure it's quality content. It's clear to the point. Okay, it's real answers to real people's questions. It's content that, again, has clear purpose. So how to do something, how to buy a home, how to refinance, maybe where to find something, where to find community events within the areas that you serve. You want to make sure that you have very clear and quality content. On top of that, you want to make sure that your pictures are clear as well, high resolution pictures. the videos, like very high quality videos. The other aspect is relevance. Okay, you want to make sure that you have connected or appropriate content that relates to your market and your brand. In this slide, on the left-hand side, you could see it's the United States real estate snapshot. That's good information, but if one of your key areas is Denver, you probably want to refer to the Denver real estate snapshot more, which therefore puts you into connections of more consumers within your market area. And then the third is freshness. Okay, this is making sure that you have up-to-date content. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that there's stats showing the 2017 RE/MAX versus the industry. And then on the right-hand side, up-to-date 2019 RE/MAX versus the industry. So it's very important to have up-to-date information, therefore creating more engagement consumers. They're returning to your site because they know they're going to find that up-to-date content. At that point, when you have that returned traffic, again, that increases your SEO value. So, local SEO, right? It is very important to really focus on having more local content, therefore appealing to more people within your area. When you do that, you create a higher rank on SEO within your area when people search for homes in Boca Raton or real estate agents in West Palm Beach, Florida. Okay? We have to remember there are no ties when it comes down to SEO. You can't have two different types of websites on that #1 Google search. There's only one. Okay? So it's very important when you're building your website, you're thinking of where are your customers? Okay? Where do you see yourself serving the most within your area? And maybe getting more content focused on the neighborhoods that you serve, the school districts, the community involvement. Right? Again, the more content you have down to the detail, down to local information, the higher you're going to populate on a Google search when a consumer searches for particular locations. Another thing to consider when it comes down to SEO is the parameters. So when you go and create actual pages, you have something called a slug. Okay, it's going to be basically a descriptor of word or words that follows the backslash of your main URL. So for example, you see victoriasellsdenver.com, then that backslash Cherry Creek. It's very important when you're creating a page that slug, that end part of this URL, describes the content on the page that you're creating. You don't want something like victoriasellsdenver.com homes for sale because that's really not defining too much of what you're talking about. You want to get more in detail, maybe Cherry Creek or homes for sale in Cherry Creek, right? Keep in mind when you go and create pages, and we'll be walking through all of this together, but when you go and create an actual website page, the slug auto-populates to the title of the page that you input in the system. This is just as a best practice, keeping in mind, again, if the title is going to be a good idea of what the page is going to be about or what the content is about, then you can keep that URL slug similar to the title of that page. The other thing to also keep in mind is meta descriptions, okay? Again, you may be like, Ken, this is a lot of information, but we'll walk through this a little bit more in depth in a moment. This is really just a snapshot description of what the page is about. So when you go and search RE/MAX, the example you see on my screen is that little description saying, looking to buy or sell a home, we've got you covered, right? It's a very brief, compelling advertisement to your page or to the content of that page. You want to make sure it is written using human-friendly language, right? You don't want to have home, sell, buy, covered, because we understand today's consumers want a good idea of what this page is about. They want to be able to read it. So it's best when you work with the meta descriptions to have that human-friendly language written out, quick 145 to 150 character sentences describing the content on your page. So what we're going to step into now is a checklist. Okay, we're going to look at this checklist again later in this webinar, But when you're creating a page, when you're customizing content, when you're updating default pages, you're going to want to go through this SEO checklist. You want to go over those key factors. Is it quality content? Is it relevant to the consumers in my market? Is it up-to-date content, right? Is it local focused? Does the slug descriptor and meta descriptions match the content of what this page is all about? Again, we'll be coming back to this checklist later in the webinar. So, giving your website curb appeal. How do we do that? Well, let's start off with maybe the homepage header. We understand we have 5 different designs we can use when it comes down to the homepage of our booj website. The one example you see here for the banner is the social design, okay? And again, we'll go more in depth of where you can locate this and where to find it, but this is the banner for the social design. It really reflects RE/MAX, but what is it doing to reflect you? Is it really branding you as a real estate agent? Is it really branding a team if you're part of a team, your office? It really isn't. So maybe switching that banner into something that's more focused on promoting your brand. So for this example, I have a picture of a Denver museum as my banner, background picture, and then I have a picture of myself with my name as well. You're easily able to can go in and customize a banner of a homepage. Very simple. I'll walk you through it today. But again, this is just branding yourself more for your market and giving consumers an idea of who you are right off the bat. Another thing to think about is identifying your market on your homepage, right? When we go and look at the default setup, it has a housing place for social media, has a housing place for listings, but it really doesn't give the consumer an idea of the information or market that you serve in. So it may be a best practice to go in, create a content block, and again, we'll walk through this together, explaining maybe 3 of the key areas that you serve. So for this example, Denver, Colorado, Parker, Colorado, and Cherry Creek, Colorado. A brief description underneath that image, letting them know they can view information, and also homes for sale within that city. Again, this is just branding and marketing yourself, focusing on local, right? Another thing is making sure that you do offer a listings content block within your homepage, right? You want right off the bat when a consumer accesses your homepage to see the listings that are available that you're working with. So very important to have that. Now, within the CMS editor, which is the website editor, there are 2 main content blocks. Okay, there is a grid block, which you see on my screen here, providing, you know, anywhere from 3 to 6 different types of listings. And then you will also have a listing block slideshow option. And that is going to be 1 listing at a time, where a consumer can do a slideshow option, scrolling through all the different listings that are available with you as an agent. Another key component, right? We understand consumers want to know about the real estate agent. Okay, so it's very important that you do offer an area going over who you are, right? What type of designations and specialties do you have? Giving them an idea of who you are as an agent and what it's like working with you. There is a bio content block that you can go in and create that. I will also show you where you can edit the bio, because you cannot edit your agent bio within the booj website builder, but you do have the capability of editing that within your Mac Center profile, and we'll take a step into that here in a moment. Another thing to think about is a video agent bio. We do know that consumers today like to watch videos. So maybe going a step further, rather than your traditional paragraph, maybe slightly text-heavy content, switching that over and providing a video agent biography. This can be something that you record and add on to YouTube. And then at that point, in the website builder, you can add a content block that is titled Video Embed, and embed the link of that YouTube video So when a consumer is going through your website, on your homepage, they can easily play that YouTube video on your actual website. It's not going to push them out. They won't leave to YouTube. They'll have the capability to watch that actual video biography on your website. Also, when it comes down to content that may be pre-created, so there is a blog content block that you can have on your homepage. Now, it does default automatically to the Remax blog. However, you can go in and override it, pushing the consumer to your own blog. So you're going to want to make sure, if you do have that opportunity or you do have a blog available, to offer that opportunity right off the bat on your homepage. So for this example, again, I have a picture of the Denver Museum. If you can tell, I'm a little, into the museum there. It's a very cool place. If you ever come down, you got to check it out. I have a picture of myself again, and just as a short little description, letting them know that I talk about Denver and the surrounding areas. Tips and tricks, again, something you definitely want to do if you have a blog active. Another key content block is the social media content block. Another thing that we know today's consumer is really focused on. Okay, they love social media. I'm sure a lot of you here on this webinar enjoy social media. Well, when it comes down to booj, they have offered the opportunity with this platform, right? We have this opportunity to add in our own social media platforms. Okay, it will be the feed of the social media, so you can easily scroll through your history on your social media. So if you have a Facebook or Twitter, a consumer can go on your homepage and actually scroll through your Twitter feed without leaving your website. They stay on your website. Again, that creates more time on your website, going back to that SEO value, right? And allows them to learn more about who you are as an agent and what you can offer them in regards to working with them and creating that relationship. Now, it's important to know that the social media content is available as a content block, but it's going to default to Remax social media platforms. But in the beginning of March, you will have the opportunity to go in and override adding in your own social media platforms and not have Remax social media feeds. It'll be directly just your feed if you choose to take on that option. Okay. On a further discussion of social media, okay, we understand when it comes down to website management and SEO, social media is also a very important gear or key when it comes down to creating a very successful website. So when it comes down to that social media content, you want to make sure that you promote your social media platforms. So like I said, the default option won't be available until March. So this gives you enough time to go through your social media accounts, make sure that it's ready and consumer facing, so that when that time comes, they can all work together. Also having the opportunity on social media to promote your website, right? Having another way for consumers to access your website through your Facebook account or through your Twitter account. Okay, all of these things work together, giving you, again, the opportunity to increase your SEO value. So, again, you're probably saying, Ken, this is a lot of information. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and live drive into the, the CMS editor, also known as the website editor. I will also tell you this. There are many resources on Remax University, videos going over how to embed a video, what type of image content blocks are available, walking you through how to add in an image outside of what's available, so uploading your own images, also how to forward any domains, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in this presentation. So don't feel too overwhelmed. Again, I know this is a lot, but there are so many resources available to you when it comes down to your website. So I'm going to go ahead and leave my presentation and step into Max Center. Again, easiest way to access booj using Max Center, using your @remax.net credentials, locate the booj platform. Now, if you don't have the booj platform as one of the apps right off the bat, on the left-hand side, once you scroll over to that grid, you can select apps, and locate the booj app platform there as well. Once you click that, it'll then take you into your booj CRM. Okay. When it comes down to accessing anything website, on the top, you're going to see the booj navigation banner. Okay, I'm going to scroll in for you a little bit, and you're going to see website. It's going to offer a little drop-down option. I'm going to select that. Okay, a window populates for me, and it gives me dashboard, pages, templates, domain manager, and website settings. Okay, we're going to start with pages for now. Okay, we'll slightly touch everything on this menu, but we're going to start with pages. Give it a moment to load here. Okay, so once I select pages, it takes me into the page editor, therefore giving me all of the pages that I can see I can see pages that are published on my website, and then you also have a draft section. So let's say you're creating a page or customizing a default page. You can put it in draft mode, meaning it won't be live for the consumer to see. Okay, so I'm going to select all. And it's going to provide me not only all of the pages that I may have created, but all of those default pages that have been pushed out to all of you and available to use. So you'll see seller's guide, you will see a buyer's guide, and then maybe marketing services, and then also the agent social layout. Okay. What I'd like to do before we jump into the agent social layout is select a version of that layout before it's modified. Okay, so we again look at the banner, shows Remax information, scrolling down, it's Remax social media. It'll also have a biography that pulls from your Mac Center bio, some call to action forms, so where the consumer can access account benefits and learn more about you as an agent, and a Remax TV commercial. So, could you use this template? You definitely can, right? It's user-friendly, it's clean, it's modern, but it really doesn't tell a story to a consumer about you, right? It doesn't reflect your image as much as it should. Whereas now I'm going to go back into the booj website editor and show you an example of that same design, but updating the content. So from here, again, I have that banner right off the bat. Denver picture in the background, picture of myself, Ken Cruz. Scrolling down, I have area information and home search right off the bat. So the consumer knows the areas that I serve. Also, you can see, I'm going to scroll in here, an area for them to click and go and search and learn more about Parker, Colorado, as well as the listings that I have available in Parker, Colorado. Keep scrolling down. I have a drone video of Denver, giving, just a very modern and video, somewhat location biography to maybe new people relocating to Denver or want to get a better idea of what's available in Denver. So this kind of just goes to show you, by just adding in just a little bit and modifying what's already there, you can easily market yourself, build your brand, build the areas that you serve very easily. So we're going to now go through and do this. I'm going to exit out here, go back into my website editor. We're going to work with the agent modern layout. Okay, all these will be available again if you select pages right from the website dropdown and then access the page editor. I'm going to select agent modern layout, select edit right underneath that tile there. On the left-hand side, you will see the content blocks and the order of content. And on the right-hand side, you see a live view of the content blocks on the left-hand side. So we see this banner right here. Again, it's very modern, it's clean, but it doesn't say anything about me, right? So to go in and customize that content, this little header content block, image with search, and you're going to see this pencil icon. Going to select that to go and edit that image. Okay, now to change the image, on the left-hand side, I'm going to actually select the image itself. And from there, it's going to bring me into a library of images that are provided by Remax. But on the right-hand side, you're going to see an area where you can go and choose to upload your own images. Just make sure it's one of these supported files and doesn't reach the max size of 5 megabytes. Okay, so I'm going to go here and choose File. Okay, I have a folder here with pre-created content, and I'm going to select Banner. Give it a moment to load. Oh, I may have it too large. Okay, I think I do have it saved in my library. What's great is any content that you do upload within your system will save to your library. So give me one moment. I'm just going to cancel and redo this fairly quickly. Go back to the first page because I believe that's where it would be. All right, and I know I am using a test account, so things are, won't work necessarily the same as yours, but let me see. Give it a moment. I'm going to refresh my page here. Just give me a moment. Thank you for your patience. Click this again. Okay, here we go. So I do have that banner saved. So I'm going to select that there, and then it'll populate on the right-hand side. You're going to have a blue button on the bottom right-hand side that says Insert. I'm going to select that. Okay, gives me a live view on the right-hand side. I'm happy with it. I'm going to select Save Changes. All right, I'm going to get a little block that says Success. All right, now, again, it's going to give me a very, large live view on the right-hand side. So for any reason, I want to have a full preview of what this looks like. On the top right-hand side, okay, you're going to see Full Preview. You're going to select that. It'll push you out to a new window. And now I can see that content, okay? Because this layout does have the search option, a lot of this content with my face and my name can be slightly covered. So when you're creating these images, you want to keep that in mind, okay? So happy with the image. I'm going to go back to my CMS editor, the website builder, okay? And now I'm going to scroll down. I see reviews. I see call to action forms, but I want to go in and I want to write again, offer the key areas that I serve. Okay, so that'll be Parker, Denver, and we'll go with Wheat Ridge. Okay, to do that, I'm going to select that blue add block on the very bottom left-hand side. Okay, for this one, I just want image and text. What's great is you do have a search bar on the very top of this menu, and I can type in image, and it'll provide me all of the different content blocks that are available for me to choose that offer the image. Same thing, let's say I want to do video. It'll offer me all of the content blocks that are video based. So for this one, I want an image and text. Find that right there, image text. Go in and select and choose an image. I just select that blue lettering there. Okay, and I want to start with Denver. So picture of Denver. It'll populate again on the right-hand side. Select Insert. Give it a title. So we'll say Denver, Colorado. Okay. Right here is where you can go in and add a description. It could be something like learn more about Denver, Colorado. Okay, and the homes that are available within Denver, Colorado today. And then you have the option to have a linked URL. So let's say I do have a page, a listings page, specifically just for Denver listings. All I have to do is copy the URL of that particular page, type in a link text. So it could be learn more. It could be, find Denver homes. Okay. And once a consumer clicks on that, it will then direct them to that listings page that you have on your website. For this, I'm going to exclude that there. I'm going to just put in a brief description. And I'm going to then select Save. Now from here, again, this is a test account, so I saw a little error, but everything's fine. From here, I want to continue adding more content, right? I want to add in Parker, Colorado, and then I want to add in Cherry Creek or Wheat Ridge. I'm going to select that Add Item button on the bottom left-hand side. Click Choose Image. And now we're going to do a picture of Parker. Populates on the right-hand side, select insert, then put in Parker, Colorado, same thing, learn more about Parker. And again, this description can be what you want it to be. This is just something short just because of time. And then I'm going to select save. So I can see on the right-hand side a live view, Denver, Parker, Colorado. Okay, let's say I'm just happy with those two key areas. Those are the dominant areas that I serve in. I can then select exit on the right-hand side. Okay. Go back to that design, so agent modern layout, select edit. Okay. What's good to know is that any content that you create, any new content blocks that you put in with a particular page will always auto-populate to the bottom of the order of the content blocks. So if I want it right below my banner, I'm going to want to select that content block and drag it up to the location that I desire, and then have that information reflect there. Okay. One thing you'll notice when it comes down to content blocks, if I see this little red peel, that means it is in draft mode. The consumer will not be able to see this content. But if I click and toggle, it'll then turn green, meaning that it is live for the consumer to see. I have the options to go in and edit the content, or that trash can, once I hover, it turns blue. I can remove that content block as well. So again, I know it's a lot of information, but like I said, the technology engagement team, we have built a lot of resources for you to go in and learn how to add in videos, how to add in content blocks with images. So please be sure that you take the time to go into Remax University and look at more in depth on how you can do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave booj and go back into the presentation. And we're going to talk about giving pre-created content curb appeal. And what I mean by that is you have pre-created content pages. So relocation information, a buyer's guide, seller's guide. But if you've taken the time to look at those pages, you'll notice that it really doesn't focus on mentioning you or mentioning the market that you share or serve. So rather than having just this relocation information, which is great information, if you decide, Ken, I don't want to customize it, it is, again, modern, it's up to date, it's relevant. But if you are those individuals that want to increase that SEO value, maybe change just some minor changes on that relocation information page. So that banner, again, going in and editing the banner, putting a picture of Denver, adding in Denver relocation or Denver instead of just relocation information, adding maybe a content block where I have text and image saying why choose Denver, what is the weather like in Denver, what's traffic like, what are the jobs like in Denver, right? And then provide the rest of the content that was already pre-created. Again, you want to increase your SEO value, you want more consumers going to your website, you want that #1 search result. The more information you have towards the market area that you serve, the more area that you have for consumers to learn about selling, learning more about you, the higher you're going to rank on that search page, right? Very easy to go in and customize this information. I'll show you very quickly. So I'm going to leave the presentation, go back in. Okay, I'm going to exit this here. Give me one moment. Exit this preview. All right. So when I go back to my pages section, my page editor, again, you should see that pre-created page where it says relocation information. Okay. Easily go in and select again, edit. And this is where I can go and select those content blocks, edit in and go choose a different image. For any reason I want to go back to the list of my content blocks on the left-hand side, I can just select that arrow. It'll take me back to that list. Okay, scroll down on the live view. There again, I have that slideshow of why Denver, working in Denver, weather in Denver, and then the pre-created content that was pushed out. Now, for any reason I want to switch the order, and maybe I want the welcome to the neighborhood first. Again, all I have to do is find the information, so the content full width, click on it, drag it up, and then on the right-hand side, it'll give me a live view of switching the order of that content. But again, one thing I will tell you, that image text slideshow is in red, so it's in draft, so the consumer would not be able to see this content. So it's very important that I do offer it or switch it over to green, therefore making it live for the consumer to interact with that content. All right. From there, I'm going to step back into my presentation, and we're going to talk about building a page for Curb Appeal, all right? When it comes down to building a page, it's very important that we go back to that SEO checklist. Okay, again, those key factors. Is it local content? The slug descriptor, again, is it briefly giving me an idea of what the content is going to be about? And then that meta description, right? When they do a Google search, that short few sentences giving me an idea of what the content is going to go through. So I'm going to leave this presentation and just roughly go into creating a page. So I'm going to exit here, top right-hand side. Okay, to go in and add a page from scratch. In the page editor view, again, when I select websites and select pages, I'm in the page editor view, and on the right-hand side, I'm going to see a blue button that says add page. Okay, it gives me two options, create new page and create from template. Okay, template is meaning that you're working with something that's already created. A new page, you're starting completely from scratch. So I'm going to select new page. So I'm going to populate a window giving me a field for name, description, and page URL. So for this example, let's say I wanted to do a page about buying in Denver, Colorado. So I could put buying in Denver, Colorado. Okay, description. When you first come to this page, this description, you don't worry about it affecting your SEO value or parameters. This description is specifically for in-house. So this gives you an idea of what you want this page to be. So for this one, you want learning about Denver, Colorado, and the buying process. Okay. Very something simple. Again, this is something only I see, so that if I ever, can't finish the page, I can come back to it. It's in draft mode, and I can right again know exactly what I want this page to be. Once I do that, I'm going to select save. From there, it's going to push you to create a header. Okay. Every page that you create, it is required that you go in and select a header or headline. Okay, so for this example, I'm just going to do a standard headline. So give me a moment. We'll do the headline option here, or we'll do the carousel block, where that gives the consumer the option to look at multiple pages on the banner. So I'm going to select carousel block. There, it's going to direct me to choose an image. So I'm going to select that. I can therefore go in and select a picture of Denver, Colorado that maybe I have in my library, or I can decide to upload my own. Populates on the right-hand side. I'm going to select that insert option. And there I go. Okay, the banner with the Denver picture. Now, from here, image description. Again, this is something only you see, so I may want to put city skyline. And now I'm going to select save. The moment you select your header, you can continue to add different types of content blocks on the bottom left-hand side by selecting add item. Again, there are many videos showing you how to build an actual web page from scratch using all the different content blocks that are available. One thing I want to make sure that we cover is the block details section. Or sorry, not the block details section, the actual page details section. Okay, so when I'm on the left-hand side, on the content blocks, you'll see the left view or left-hand side page details block. We're going to select that. Okay, so we see the title of this page, buying in Denver, Colorado, the slug, right? So let's say my URL, I have a forwarding URL called Ken Sells Homes. The end slug, right? The end part of that website is going to be buying in Denver, Colorado. This description is something only for my eyes to see. but then I see SEO parameters. This is where it'll give me an option to offer in a page title tag and meta description tag. When it comes down to the page title tag, this is something that you will see right off the bat on a Google search. So let's say I searched for Remax, right? From that previous slide, when I searched Remax, I saw the word Remax, and then underneath that, that meta description. Buying, selling homes, we've done it a million times. You'll see that description. So I want to keep it consistent with the title of this page. So buying in Denver, Colorado. Meta description, again, think of this as your short advertisement to a consumer. You want to, again, very briefly have a sentence or two or three going over what the content is about. So for this meta description, you may want to put, learn about the Denver buyer's market. Maybe you want to add in and the process of buying a home in Denver. Again, this is that short little advertisement. So when a consumer is going on Google, they're seeing all the results right off the bat. They're looking at little description, learn about Denver buyer's market and the process of buying a home in Denver. You have that quick moment to connect with that consumer on a Google search. So keywords you really want to stay away with because you want to get very detailed, as short as possible, about the content of that page. Okay, once I've done so, I'm going to select Save Page Details. Okay, so it's very important, again, you want to start earning SEO value, that you take the time to go into the page details and add in that page title tag and that meta description tag. All right, I'm going to jump back into the presentation here, and we're going to step into optimizing your website for lead generation. So what are some key things we need to make sure to do? All right. Five key ways to optimize your lead generation. Number one, you want to make sure to add forms to pages that get the most traffic, right? So if your homepage has a lot of traffic going to that particular page, on the very bottom, you want to add a form where it says maybe learn more or contact me. Okay. Number two, you want to make sure that you measure each page performance. Okay. In the future, it's on the roadmap where we're going to offer Google Analytics, right? It'll give you the opportunity to see what pages are getting the most traffic, how are consumers accessing your website, and how much are coming back to your website. Again, that'll be with Google Analytics, and that is on the roadmap. Number three, you want to create a customer journey ending in a conversion. So if you push them to learn more about Denver, Colorado, you have images, you have a video about Denver, Colorado, you have listings in Denver, Colorado on that page. On the very bottom, you're going to want to offer maybe a form or schedule showings or a call to action so that then can create a conversion into a lead. Okay. Number four, right? Have a call to action on your homepage. It's very important that you offer the consumer the opportunity to download the app. You give them the opportunity to go and create an account, or in the future, that's only going to help them out and also help you capture information about that particular consumer. And then last, number five, nurture your leads, right? Make sure any leads that are coming to your website, right? They're going to your website in particular and generating as a lead. Make sure to nurture those leads. Contact them. Get in contact with them right off the bat, right? They're coming to your particular website and generating as a lead just for you. Also, when it comes down to how leads are generated, right? When we talked about creating forms or call to actions, when it comes down to the forms, the ones that are available for you to select to add onto a page is request more information, schedule a showing, contact me. If you're part of a team or an office, contact us. And some activities that could also generate them as a lead is saving a favorite property. If they want to go in and save a property on your website, it'll push them to go and create an account. Once that is done, It'll then give you the opportunity to see the information of the properties that they saved and also generate them, my apologies, as a lead for you. Same thing with save a search or add a my place. When it comes down to those content blocks that are available, okay, you can go in and search the CTA block, which stands for call to action. You can make sure to provide those listing blocks. Also, like I said, remember on the home page, make sure you offer that. Contact form block, you want to make sure that you offer that on your home page as well and throughout numerous locations on your website, right? So if I do have the buyer's page for Denver, Colorado, on the very bottom, I want to give that consumer the opportunity to contact me as well, okay? Good tip is to make sure to use the where to go to next block on pages you don't have lead generation blocks. So for example, let's say I have on my relocation page, I talk about relocating to Denver, Colorado, information about Denver, Colorado, but I don't have a call to action or a contact me block. I can create a where to go to next block, which will then push the consumer to a different page, allowing them to generate to a lead by submitting then a contact form, a call to action, or creating an account. I will tell you this because you're probably saying, Ken, that's a lot to remember. There's a video specifically going through this process and how to set this up. Okay. Last part before we step into questions is website maintenance. Okay. When it comes down to your website URL and domain management, you do have a default domain. It'll be your username.remax.com. Okay. For example, kcruise.remax.com. I will show you where you can relocate that as well. You also have the option to have custom or purchase domains forwarded to your booj website as well, and I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm going to leave the presentation, go back into booj. Just going to select the booj. I'm going to select exit here on the top right-hand side. Okay. On the top booj navigation banner, I'll see website, a little drop down, and I'll see domain manager. From there, this is where I can go in. On the right-hand side, I have a blue button. I can go in. On the right-hand side, I have a blue button where it says add domain. Okay, I can enter in that domain. So let's say it's kensellshomes.com. Okay, but before you select the add button on the bottom right-hand side, you have to make sure to capture the DNS records on the bottom right-hand side. What that means is this is information right here and right here that you're going to capture and input in your domain registrar. So if you have a domain purchased through GoDaddy, you're going to have to go through the domain registrar through GoDaddy and enter in an A and C name information within your account settings. Now, if you're like, Ken, that's a lot to do, there is an actual guide that you can locate as well as a video walking you through the steps, or you can also just choose to contact your domain registrar. So if you do have GoDaddy, you can get in contact with them and ask them how you enter in the A and C name to have a domain forwarded to your brand new website. Okay, so once I capture this information down, I write it down, I then select add. Okay, give it a moment to load here. I'm using a test account, so it may not work, but you will see it populate. I'm going to just do a refresh, see if it does for me today. Okay, it won't for me today, but you'll have the Ken Sells Home. It'll let you know if it is live. It'll say either active or not active. Okay, and then at that point on the right-hand side, it's going to have a giving you the opportunity to remove that domain if you choose to do so. Okay, again, there is a video going over this process more in depth. Okay, where you go and locate your default domain. Okay, if I select that website on the top booj navigation banner, that window, I can select dashboard. Give it a moment to load. Okay, from there, you're going to see this link right here. Okay, this is a test account, so it's going to be quite different, but it'll be the first link that you have, and that will then reflect your default domain that you also have the capability to go and capture, write down, post on social media, post on campaigns. So that directs consumers another way to access your website. Okay. Lastly, I want to go over in the presentation is maintaining your booj website. Okay, it's a best practice using your booj calendar to go in and create tasks on your calendar to keep content fresh and relevant. So maybe twice a month, you want to go in and add a task on the last Friday of every week or the last 2 Fridays within a week of the month to go in and add new content, maybe update some images, community events. Be sure to go and schedule those updates on your calendar so that, again, you have that quality, you have relevant information, but you also have that up-to-date freshness and engaging content for a consumer. Right? For any reason you have questions or some of these features aren't working for you, you can contact product support by phone number, also by email. You can access them through Mac Center, through the support services tile, and submit a ticket. But with that being said, I do want to open it up for questions. Again, I know Josh has been recording those questions for us. So, Josh, what type of questions do we have for today?
One second. Let's see. A couple of the open ones. Adding forms. Are there forms available, or do we create our own? Is one that was asked.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave here quite quickly. When it comes down to those forms, that is pre-created content because that has to push the consumer to specific direction. So let me give you an example. Go back to website, go into pages. We'll just use the agent social layout. I'll select edit. Okay. I see I have a contact form on the very bottom. Okay, again, it is built out a specific way so that they can enter in their name, email, send in a message, and then select send. When it comes down to additional forms, I want to add a block. I can type in forms, or it would be a call to action. Maybe I want to have a mobile going over downloading. Whoops, wrong one. Where did it go? My apologies. A call to action form. Rebrand 1. Again, it's the My Mobile app. If we were to change these, it wouldn't direct the consumer once they select Learn More to go and download the actual app. So it's very important. Those forms are not editable. They do have to push the consumer to do an action.
Let's see. Ken, if you just want to comment on the image that you created, there seems to be some confusion on how do I create that.
Okay. Well, hey, yeah, so I'm going to go back to that. How do I get an image like that, right? So I will tell you, it does take a little bit of work on PowerPoint. Okay, that's exactly how I created this image. All I simply do is I select the image I want for the banner. Okay, it has to be a very large image. So for this example, it was the Denver Museum. And then I'm going to add in some text. So Ken Cruz, where I can customize the font, put in realtor, then add in an image of myself and maybe crop it to a shape. At that point, I'm going to save that as a picture from PowerPoint, and then I can now upload it into my CMS editor to have as a banner. So it does take some work on PowerPoint, but it can be done. One additional thing I do want to show you is how to go in and edit your agent bio, because I wanted to touch that before we end. To go and do that, again, you cannot do through the CMS editor. Okay, you have to go back to your Mac Center account. Okay, from here on the top right-hand side, you're going to see your profile icon. You're going to select that. It'll then bring you into your profile. On the right-hand side, you're going to see a blue button that says Update Account. I'm going to select that. It's going to push you out to a new screen. Okay, and this is where I can go in on the left-hand side and select Photo. I can go in and add or remove the photo that I have to add an updated photo. That information or that photo then is pushed into your Remax or your booj website. So if you're wondering, how did they get that image? It is from Mac Center. And then under personal details, you'll see your personal bio. Let's say you want to change it. On the right-hand side, once you hover over your biography, you'll see an edit option where you can go in, remove text, add text, start from scratch, and do that all right here. Once you hit save and exit out of your Mac Center profile account, it'll then provide that update on your agent biography on your booj website. All right. Let's see here. Well, since we have a little bit more time, I know these questions are being recorded, but I wanted to show you just briefly a few agent websites of going in and customizing content. So we have an agent here, right, has the biography, but scrolling down right off the bat, how can I help you today, right? She created a little image and text slideshow, going in, time to sell, moving out of town, scrolling down. Again, she has the key areas that she serves. So Black Forest, Fountain, Northgate. She has her reviews, talks about the mobile website. Another example of an agent website, right? This is where an agent went in and created their own banner image, maybe a picture of the city, adding in some text and some images on top of that picture on PowerPoint or through Adobe. Scrolling down, right off the bat, she wants consumers to know that she has a seller's guide, home valuation, and buyer's guide. Again, look at her branding. She likes red, right? She's consistent throughout her page. She has a lot of that red in there. So when it comes down to customizing, more down to your branding, you can easily do that. She also provides a video biography. Again, this is a good practice to have. Consumers like watching videos. And then lastly, another agent. Okay, same thing, banner image with her photo and name, the key areas that she serves, a video maybe going over her as a real estate agent, some more local content, and a biography that she hosts that would then, when a consumer selects visit my blog, will then be pushed to her independent blog. So just some key examples to show you the amount of customization that you can do within the CMS editor. All right, let's see if we have room for about two questions. Josh, you got any for me?
Can I still send seller reports like I used to do through Lead Street?
Can you still send seller reports? So right now, that isn't a function that's available, but in the roadmap, you will have the option to export or download a seller report from booj. Therefore, you can sit down and show your clients that information and have the capability of sending that over. But again, that's not a feature that's quite available at this moment. It is on the roadmap, though. All right. A few things, again, I just wanted to briefly mention over when it comes down to those community blocks. There's a video on it going over offering community content or information. That will be available at the end of Q2 of 2020. The social media content block will be available at the beginning of March. So just make sure you keep an eye out for those two content blocks. Again, with that being said, it was a pleasure going over this presentation with you. Please refer back to RE/MAX University because there's so much content that you can refer back to. You also have Pendo guides or guide, in-app guide, the bottom right-hand side, that question mark, where you can learn more about adding in a page as well. And this is just not only with websites, but it can also deal with tasks and contacts. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. But with that, again, today's webinar was recorded and will be posted on RE/MAX University within 72 hours. Again, my name is Ken Cruz, part of the Technology Engagement Consultants. If you're going to R4, definitely look out for me. I will be there. With that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Also, when it comes down to questions, we will continue answering them. They are recorded, so keep that in mind. Take care, everyone.